evening and welcome to Breaking Views on NDTV. I am Ankit Tyagi. Ladies and gentlemen, the World Cup, one-day international World Cup is back in India after 2011. A great moment for fans to rejoice once again. An opportunity for the team India to win an ICC tournament, which at this moment we are finding it quite hard, in fact, to win any ICC tournament. Quite unlucky there for Team India. But while everybody will be celebrating, hoping for a great time in October when the World Cup begins, there are already questions being raised on the selection of the venue as far as this World Cup is concerned. 10 cities have been given the opportunity to host it. Those who have not been are at this moment not finding it palatable that the sport which almost every Indian loves, the sport which is known as religion in this country, many cities will not have a World Cup match. And this has created a huge hue and cry as well. With just 100 days left for, or less than that now, 99 days left for the kickoff of the ICC, the International Cricket Council World Cup, ODI World Cup 2023. The entire schedule was announced on Tuesday of the event, which will be now hosted over 10 cities, with semi-finals being played in Mumbai and Kolkata, and the final at the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad. Even the opening fixture is at the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad. Now, opposition leaders have raised questions over Ahmedabad getting big games while their home states have missed out. The tournament opener, India versus Pakistan crucial match, England versus Australia, the traditional rivalry, and the final have all been given to the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad, which will host 4 of the marquee games of the one-day international World Cup, which is going to take place between October 5th and November 19th. Congress MP Shashi Tharoor from Thiruvananthapuram has expressed his disappointment over his city missing out. Meanwhile, Punjab Sports Minister Gurmeet Singh Air said that the decision to not allot the matches to Mohali, which remember since 1996 has always got a World Cup game, he said that this was politically motivated. The BCCI was defended by Vice President Rajiv Shukla, who defended this decision, saying that the ICC has the final say in the World Cup fixture.
ਰਾਤ 'ਚ ਸਾਰੇ ਵੱਡੇ ਮੈਚ ਹੋ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਇਹਦਾ ਇੱਕੋ ਇੱਕ ਕਾਰਨ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਪੋਲੀਟੀਕਲ ਇੰਟਰਫੇਰੈਂਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਤੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਨਾਲ ਵਿਤਕਰੇ ਵਾਲੀ ਭਾਸ਼ਾ ਦੇ ਮਤਲਬ ਕਿ ਭਾਵਨਾ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇੱਕ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੈਚ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਗਿਆ। ਸੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਬੜਾ ਮੰਦਭਾਗਾ ਇਹਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਨਿੰਦਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਸਖਤ ਸ਼ਬਦਾਂ 'ਚ ਤੇ ਅਫੀਸ਼ੀਅਲੀ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਮੁੱਦਾ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਹੈ ਮਾਨ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੀ ਅਗਵਾਈ 'ਚ ਅਸੀਂ BCCI ਕੋਲ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਉਠਾਵਾਂਗੇ।
ICC has to approve all those venues. It's not purely in BCCI's hands. ICC has to approve those venues. So all those who are raising objection, they should realize that we need a consent of ICC also while picking up these venues.
So now amid the controversy over the World Cup venues, former BCCI President Saurav Ganguly has backed the decision of the ICC and the BCCI. He has said great venues allotted for the World Cup 2023. Look forward to World Cup in India. Missed out as president due to COVID. What a spectacle it will be. Great venues, great allocation. So many venues no country can boast of. BCCI will make this tournament a tournament to remember for the world. Congratulations to the BCCI. And he has tweeted and in fact congratulated and said Jaysha, Roger Binney and all the other office bearers and the staff. Now, which are the cities which have been given the opportunity to host the matches? It is Ahmedabad, Mumbai, Kolkata, Bengaluru, Chennai, Delhi, Dharamshala, Hyderabad, Lucknow and Pune. Out of these 10 cities, almost 5 are in non-BJP ruled states. So why is there controversy and what are the cities which have missed out saying? Cities which have missed out as far as the 2023 World Cup are concerned. One, of course, is Mohali, a big, in fact, exclusion as far as this World Cup is concerned. In 2011 World Cup, 3 matches were played in Mohali. Then Indore, from 1987 World Cup, Australia versus New Zealand took place in Indore, and many other World Cup, many other international cricket fixtures keep taking place in Indore. Thiruvananthapuram or Trivandrum, January 2023. ODI was played between India and Sri Lanka. Now, Shashi Tharoor saying that this is one of the best, in fact, stadiums. Why has this not been given opportunity to host a World Cup match? Rajkot in Gujarat has also missed out. In January 2023, T20 India versus Sri Lanka took place here. Ranchi, which is in Jharkhand, in October 2022, ODI match between India and South Africa was played here. Nagpur has also not been given an opportunity this time, though in September 2023, a T20 match between India and Australia was also played at this venue. Now, to sum this all up, is this choice of the changing venues and the way the fixture has been made, is it somewhere also a reflection of the changing power equations within the Indian Cricket Board? Because if you remember in 2011, when India last hosted the 50-over World Cup, NCP Supremo Sharad Pawar was calling the shots in Indian cricket. And Mumbai got a lion's share of the matches. In fact, the final was played at the Wankhede Stadium. So is it something which is unusual which has taken place? So why is there so much rumbling before this big sports fixture? Let's very quickly go across, in fact, to Mr. Shashi Tharoor, a Congress MP senior leader. I spoke to him precisely on why is he disappointed on this entire schedule which has been given by the BCCI. Thank you so much for speaking to us. I want to start by asking you, sir, the World Cup is coming back to India. Fans are delighted. What is this controversy about Thiruvananthapuram and other venues not being included in the fixture, sir?
No, I'm sure it's nothing to do with politics, at least I hope not. But my concern is, why couldn't these guys have fought, for example, for more venues? We're a very large country. You've only got 10 venues for 45 matches, and multiple venues seem to have 5 matches each and so on, which frankly is an extravagance. If you had 3 more venues and everyone had 3 matches each, everyone would have been happy. It seems to me that the BCCI has a responsibility to the game inside our country, to promoting it, to getting world-class cricket to the audiences. And it's a shame that they've passed up this opportunity when they've got good stadiums. I mentioned Thiruvananthapuram. Mohali is another example. Ranchi is another example. These are stadiums where international cricket is often played. So why not for the World Cup? That's my big concern. 10 venues, fine, but we're a much bigger country than, say, England or Australia. Well, maybe not Australia in terms of geography, but certainly in terms of the number of cities we have that could be competing for these opportunities. It would have been good if the ICC had simply used its influence. The BCCI had used its influence in the ICC and got more venues.
But Mr. Tharoor, you would also know, being an avid cricket fan, that it's just not the BCCI's decision, right? The ICC is involved in this. The BCCI and the ICC said that it's a big occasion. Logistically, it would have been a nightmare to spread it across to many other venues as well. Security would have also been one major concern. How can it be, at this moment, like you said, you hope that there is no politics involved in this, but why would you then go on and say that, this is an unfair decision, sir?
Well, look, I mean, the fact is, if these places are good enough to host ODIs, test matches, and so on, as they all have done, Mohali, for example, even hosted a semi-final in the 2011 World Cup. How can it suddenly become unsuitable? I find that reasoning extremely specious. And in fact, I'm glad to say Thiruvananthapuram has been given some of the warm-up matches that the teams will be playing for practice. So clearly, there's no shortage of hotel rooms or anything else. Remember, you're only talking about 2 teams at a time. You're not talking about bringing all the 10 teams into one city. So I think this logistics argument is grossly exaggerated.
Like you mentioned, sir, Mohali, Thiruvananthapuram, even Ranchi, these are all non-BJP ruled state. Out of the 10 cities which have been selected, there are still about 4 to 5 cities which are in non-BJP ruled state. Why do you think that there is a certain point of view or a certain dispensation which is trying to prove a point by giving most matches to various states? I mean, take for example, you've raised that concern about Ahmedabad itself becoming the new central hub as far as cricket is concerned. What are your reservations on that?
You know, one tries to be a little subtle and you spell it out, Ankit. What can I do? The fact is that certainly does seem that there is a certain particular point of view's dominance. I mean, we've seen Ahmedabad, for example, not just getting the first match of the tournament and the last match of the tournament, the final, but also getting the two biggest marquee matches of the entire tournament, India versus Pakistan and England versus Australia. Now, that can't just be accidental. No one drew a lot and arranged that. This is obviously a question of the amount of clout commanded by Ahmedabad through its voices on the board. And I think we have to understand that this is the way the country is going at the moment. I'm prepared to live with the reality. But I just felt that even if that is the case, they can still manage to, as I said earlier, sort of spread the benefits a little more widely and take everyone along. This is a vast country, and the tournament belongs to every Indian, doesn't it?
Absolutely, but former India captain and of course the former president of the BCCI, Saurav Ganguly, has defended the choice of venues. He said all the venues which have been chosen are world-class venues. Do you still see politics in this, sir?
Look, I think very highly of Saurav. He's a friend. I would prefer to trust his judgment on that. But just to say that there are some things that cannot be explained entirely on, shall we say, merit alone. But anyway, again, you know, in a country like ours, a certain amount of political influence is bound to come in. I'm not here to bring politics into cricket, to be honest. Politics pervades every aspect of our society already. And if we can keep as much of it out of cricket as possible, so much the better. But there are some things people are bound to notice, and that could have been anticipated and avoided by being a little more generous, in my personal view.
You did mention Mohali, and the government of Punjab took a very strong exception of Mohali not being included as far as the World Cup 2023 fixture is concerned. Since 1996, Mohali has always been a host of a few of these matches. In fact, in the last World Cup, it was the exciting India-Pakistan match which was played in Mohali. The government of Mohali is taking it up in a big way. Do you think the government of Kerala should also make a case for Thiruvananthapuram?
Well, you know, I'm in opposition in Kerala as well, so I can't speak for the government of Kerala. But any government that cares about its cricket fans, and in fact in Kerala, the sport has been growing in leaps and bounds in the last 20 years or so, it would certainly be in their interest to also make an issue. I am quite sure it's too late to change anything, because I don't imagine that once you've announced the fixtures, announced it worldwide, and people in foreign countries have already started buying their tickets and planning their holidays, I don't think you can now bring about changes without causing a serious amount of inconvenience. I remember hearing several earfuls from foreign friends who had booked tickets to Dharamsala when we were playing in the last series in our country in the Test series, and then the match got shifted to Indore. This is against Australia. And a lot of people had booked hotels and air tickets and so on, coming from foreign countries, who felt very gravely inconvenienced. So I just understand that once these decisions are made public, that it's as good as irreversible. But there is absolutely nothing wrong with expressing regret and pointing out that there are feelings around the country that have also been wounded in the process.
All right, let me give politics a little pause here. You are a big cricket fan, an avid follower, and I often see you tweeting about Indian matches and, of course, other cricketing fixtures as well. What is your prediction? What are your hopes for the 2023 World Cup, sir?
Look, I'm very, very hopeful, Ankit, because we do have a pretty strong team. We are usually considered unbeatable in home conditions, which is why the excitement about a home World Cup already goes up because of that. But, you know, this is a sport where you never take anything for granted, and there can always be surprises on the day. So I refuse to be complacent, but I think we have a pretty good chance of going all the way in 2023.
Mr. Tharoor, always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for sharing your views on NDTV. So that was Shashi Tharoor putting it in black and white that he feels that a few emotions have been wounded, and the BCCI could have been more accommodating of other venues as well. Taking this discussion further, joining me on the broadcast at this moment, Mr. Amrit Mathur, advisor of the Ministry of Sports, Government of India, former General Manager, BCCI, and COO, Delhi Daredevils. He's joining us at this moment. We also have Malvinder Singh Khan, Chief Spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party from Punjab. Gentlemen, thank you so much for sparing the time and speaking to us. I want to start with you, Mr. Mathur. Like you heard, Mr. Shashi Tharoor also speaking at this moment. He's saying that the BCCI, if they have so much clout, they could have possibly gotten a few more venues in the country as well. What do you make of this entire controversy on the fixtures, sir?
I can understand the disappointment of cities of Trivandrum, Mohali, others who missed out on the World Cup. It's a very big event, and the cricket lovers across the country, especially in those cities, we have been looking forward to games being staged there. But I'd like to point out a few things. Firstly, the ICC World Cup belongs to the ICC. They control the event. They decide practically everything, the commercial side, the operational side. Of course, India has the right to only stage the games, for which we get some money for every game we hold. The ticketing revenue belongs to the BCCI. But apart from that, it's an ICC controlled, run, operated event. So they have the veto, they have the final say. Obviously, they will go by recommendations of the BCCI on venues. And the BCCI, for a long time, has had a policy of spreading cricket and spreading important games of the tournament across its different zones. So if you see the allotment of games for this World Cup, they are so evenly balanced across different zones, north, west, south, east, except I think Central has not got a full share compared to the others. I think Lucknow will got some games in the orange style. Now, coming specifically to Trivandrum and Mohali, in the south zone, obviously Chennai and Bangalore are bigger centers, older centers, and they will get priority over any other venue. Similarly, in the north, Dharamshala is the premier cricket venue now. Mohali has been an excellent stadium and had important games in the past. But recently, I think the focus has shifted away from Mohali to Dharamshala.
Okay.
So I can understand Dharamshala getting the nod ahead of Mohali, but it's a big event. It's the ultimate sort of cricket tournament being staged in India after a long time.
Okay.
And the disappointment is quite understandable.
Let me get in Mr. Kang on this. Mr. Kang, we heard the sports minister of Punjab. He said that this is a political, it's politically motivated that Mohali has missed out. You heard just Mr. Mathur right now. He's saying possibly the focus right now is more on Dharamshala than Mohali. Why does the government of Punjab think that there is politics involved in this? There are at least 5 venues in the opposition ruled states who have got important matches.
Because Mohali is one of the best stadium in not only in the country, in the world. And we have a very good pitch in Mohali. And a lot of great match already conducted in Mohali in recent past also. And near Mohali, we have an international airport also, a lot of hotel, 5-star hotel chain also. And Punjabi known for best hospitalities in our country. So it's a very clear Gujarat, because Jai Shah belonged to Gujarat and he just BCCI secretary, and they allotted 3 matches to Gujarat, and BCCI president belonged to Himachal Pradesh and they allotted 5 matches to Himachal Pradesh. And in the ranking, Mohali is far away from Himachal Pradesh. So it's a very obvious discrimination. पंजाब के साथ कहीं ना कहीं डिस्क्रिमिनेशन है, और रिसेंटली पास्ट सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट लॉट ऑफ टाइम जैसे हमारा फंड रोका है, रूरल डेवलपमेंट फंड, हमारा नेशनल हेल्थ मिशन का पैसा रोका है अभी। तो हमको लगता है कि कहीं ना कहीं मोदी साहब की सरकार पंजाब के प्रति डिस्क्रिमिनेट कर रही है पंजाब को, और बहुत डिसअपॉइंटेड हैं पंजाब के जो करोड़ों लोग जो क्रिकेट से प्यार करते हैं, और मोहाली जैसे स्टेडियम को मैच ना देना और इतने बड़े इवेंट के लिए। जी जी।
Mr. Mathur, is it as possibly political parties would try to take in that direction? Is it also somewhere reflection of changing power dynamics as far as the BCCI is concerned?
Listen, Ahmedabad is the best cricket center stadium venue in the country. So it is befitting in the World Cup. Key matches should be staged there. It's a big event. Big matches should be staged on that platform. I don't see anything wrong with that. Why would you not have the final or the best matches in Ahmedabad?
No, but what about the argument that, there are stadiums like Ahmedabad who have got 4 to 5 matches. It could have been given to some other venue as well. Like Mr. Kang is saying, Mohali in terms of infrastructure, also in terms of the facilities, possibly is better than Dharamshala. Why is 5 matches to Dharamshala and not a single one to Mohali?
Listen, I agree with this Mohali being a major center. And they've had very important games in the past. But the fact is that even Mohali, the Punjab Cricket Association is moving out of Mohali. They are creating a new cricket stadium. So the focus has shifted away from Mohali to Dharamshala in the North Zone, which also I quite understand.
Okay, Mr. Kang, if I can bring you in at this moment, like he's saying that there is also the shifting of the focus, but ये भी तो सच बात है ना सर, हर वर्ल्ड कप में सिर्फ एक ही वेन्यू को अगर प्रमोट करेंगे तो बाकी जगह का क्या होगा? तो बाकी वेन्यूज को भी तो प्रमोट करना होगा, आगे आगे जाके वो भी बड़े वेन्यूज बनेंगे।
नहीं, हमको लगता है कि अगर हिमाचल को 5 मैच दे सकते हैं तो वो कम करके पंजाब को भी दिया जा सकता था। इट्स अ वेरी नियर टू पंजाब एंड गुजरात को आप 3 मैच दे रहे हो।
लेकिन रूल 10 ही मैच को अलाउ, 10 ही वेन्यू अलाउ करते हैं।
सॉरी,
रूल 10 वेन्यू अलाउ करते हैं।
हाँ, मैंने वही कहा ना कि जहां जहां तो बीजेपी रूल स्टेट्स हैं तो उसमें आपने गुजरात को भी ले लिया, हिमाचल को भी ले लिया।
सर, हिमाचल तो कांग्रेस रूल स्टेट है।
हाँ, पंजाब का तो स्टेडियम वन ऑफ द बेस्ट स्टेडियम माना जाता है मोहाली। तो इस तरीके से पंजाब को बाहर करना तो ऑब्वियसली वेरी डिसअपॉइंटिंग टू अस।
ओके, disappointing. I can understand, of course, every fan would want, the big teams to come and play in their city, in their state, so that they can have an opportunity to view those matches. But is it justified to, in fact, pull politics? But you can't also walk away from the fact that it also somewhere is a reflection of the changing power dynamics within the cricketing body, the BCCI. Gentlemen, thank you so much for sparing the time out and putting forward your views on this big story. But since we are talking about Cricket World Cup, so I thought before we wrap this show up, just to give you a sense of why cities want such big fixtures, such big cricketing events or any sporting event to come to their venue. It is also related to the commerce. Just take a look at what is happening in Ahmedabad. Room rates, and we have gone to bookings.com, a website, to check these room rates. In Ahmedabad, where important cricketing fixtures have to take place. Now, if you book a room in a 5-star hotel, let's say a Radisson in Ahmedabad on in 5th of July, on that day, you would possibly find a room between 5,000 to 8,000 rupees. But when it comes to the cricketing World Cup on 15th October, when there is a match which has to be played in Ahmedabad, just take a look at the surge in the prices when the India-Pakistan match has to take place in Ahmedabad. The prices have gone up many folds, more than 10 times, to 40,000 rupee to 1 lakh. This is because of the hike in demand. There are hardly any rooms which have already left as far as the bookings are concerned. This is why it also impacts the commerce, it also impacts the business as far as these cities are concerned, and that's why cities are vying for these big sporting events. Just to give you an example, and if you were hoping that you can go to Ahmedabad, until and unless you have a friend or a relative living in Ahmedabad, you have zero chance for most of us to go and spend 1 lakh rupee for a room which was 4,000 to 5,000 rupees if you go at this moment. All right. We are done, in fact. That's all the time that we have in this edition of Breaking Views.